We're replacing the valve cover gasket on the passenger side. And few things we're gonna have to remove is move these hoses out of the way. These are the hoses that is going to the radiator. This is for the heater, so we're gonna remove this, but before that we need to drain our radiator. So here's what I'm doing. I'm draining the radiator. As you can see, I had a cover, so I had to unbolt the two screws holding the cover. Once I dropped the cover down, this yellow plastic piece that you see, I just unbolt that, and that starts to drain your coolant. So in my case, I had water in there. Apparently the previous owner had filled it up with water. There was no coolant, but I'm draining down the water. So you can drain it down halfway, or in my case I'm doing it all the way. And then we're going to be undoing, basically getting everything out of the way so we can lift the valve cover. I think I'm going to leave this guy. I'm going to remove this. There's a plastic piece. I can just lift this and get this out of the way. So this is already out. I can get this out from here. Well, second thing I'm going to remove this big piece. In fact, I can probably hold this away, and I think that will give me enough clearance. The other stuff is all these pipes. It needs to be away from this. So I'm going to start removing these first, and then I'll go about what else needs to be removed. So a few things I kind of moved out of the way is this guy was connected to this right here, and kind of moved the clip backwards and pulled it out of here, and I'm kind of holding this on the back with the plastic, so in case if there's any water or coolant, it will fall inside the plastic. There was this vacuum piece that was right here, and once I removed it, it started getting hissing sound, which is okay because the vacuum starts to suck in air. So that I got that out of the way. Now I need to get these. I think I can leave this in the place and get these out of the way. Some of these wires are kind of in the way. This I'm going to hold back with a bungee cord and get everything else out of the way. I think I'm going to have to remove this pipe from here, and should give me enough clearance to get this baby out. Okay, so you can see I put a bungee cord right there, kind of pull it out of the way. I also did a bungee right here to get this out of the way, and I removed the little piece right here that was going from here to here, so that is out of the picture. I also removed this guy, so I just removed the clip, and it was kind of hard to come out, but a tip I'm gonna give you guys is use this kind of plier and hold on to the rubber and kind of twist it back and forth, and give it a twist all like at bottom, and then keep coming top and give it like a nice twist back and forth, and that's just going to loosen it up, you know, because it's probably been in there for a long time, and once you keep twisting, I think it'll be out of there and clean up any debris or anything that you may have on there. So then I was able to get this out, so I'm going to move this out of the way, and I think that is it. I think we are ready to unscrew. So again, we have 6 bolts, 2 of them here, 2 in the middle, one you can see right there, and then 2 at the very corner. So I think I'm ready to take this out and replace the gasket. Okay, a few additional things which I had to do was I had to undo my bungee, and I kind of had to remove this from the other side as well, because the corner screw is very hard to get to, and so is the middle one. So for the middle one, I had to remove the 2 hoses. This was going at the bottom, and this was going right here, so I had to remove those, and I think now it will give me enough clearance. I can move this out of the way, and now I can unscrew the corner one and the middle one, because these 2 were the hardest one to get to. Okay guys, so this was a real pain. to get out. So let me tell you how I got this out. So you're gonna need something like this. There's no other way, there's no straight that you can go in because of this, unless you get this out of the way, which is a heck of a lot of work. So if you have one of these, you can easily get this out. And I had a Husky set, one of these that came with this, so with this setup, Home Depot. So this really came in handy today. And I'm gonna go ahead and already easily remove the bolt, not really removed it, but loosen it up, and I just have to remove it now. So you need that for the corner one. Okay, so everything is loose. One more thing I have to do in order for me to remove it, I have to get this out of the way. And the way this is hooked on is there are two bolts at the very bottom. It's kind of hard to see. There's a bolt right there, and then there's a bolt right there. You can follow it. These are the two bolts that I had already removed. So these are the ones, and they're being held by a 15mm socket. So now, since I have the bolt out, I can just go ahead and wiggle this out and get it out of the way, and now I'll have enough clearance to get the valve cover gasket out. So as you can see, I got this thing out of the way, this thing out of the way. The way I did that is I removed the hose from here, remove this, and kind of, after undoing those two bolts, kind of pushed it out of the way. I also loosened up the clip on this one. I was going to take this off, but it's not needed. This is the other side of that pipe. It's all the same. So this one I'm going to put the clip back, and everything is out of the way. The valve cover is off, and I'm going to clean all this gunk. You can use a plastic scraper to clean any of this. Make sure you don't use a metal scraper. If you have any residue left, make sure you remove any of the debris, like the leaf right here, and just clean it up really good before you put the new valve cover or the new seal on the valve cover. You don't need to clean any of this. I wouldn't mess with any of the internal components. And let me show you what I did on the valve cover. So I cleaned it up. This is the old one. It was very hard and brittle to take off, so it was very tough, but here's the new seal. I cleaned it up good from inside, and put the new rubber grommets on these screws, and I did that one by one so I don't lose track of where they go. And I think I'm ready to put this on, and I might put some RTV sealant at the tabs, just like I did on the driver's side valve cover. So you can see that video if you want to see the details of how and where to put it. But once I put that on, I think I'm gonna put this back in. Okay, so on this side I got the valve cover back in. So I think it's nice and tight. Again, I kind of like did not do the torque on these. I'm not sure what the torque values are, but I made sure they're hand tight, and then I gave it like a quarter turn or a little bit more, you know, just to get a feel for it. You don't want to over tight these, and you don't want to break something, right? So just be careful. I did add some sealant, as you can see, at the very corner, just like I did on the previous one, on the other side one I mean. And you will have to remove this to unbolt this particular one, or to put this back on, because there's not much clearance. So this one just comes off, and then this gives you enough clearance to put that socket over there and make sure it's nice and tight. So I put everything back after replacing the valve cover gasket. So a couple of things that I want to point out. So this line right here, so as you saw earlier that I had moved it by removing the two screws, and I moved it out of the way, and I installed the valve cover gasket. Well, guess what? This part kind of goes underneath this valve cover, kind of. So it was a battle for me to, of course, I didn't want to remove the valve cover gasket again and put this in there. So there's another way you can do it. I just had to disconnect all the hoses, get this completely out, and then insert this piece first, and then I kind of reconnected my hose. So there's one hose right there, there are two hoses here, and then this one kind of goes right here. So this one right here, so I kind of just took it out and connected the 4 hoses, and then there's one on top right here, the thin one, and that made life much easier. Then I connected this hose back that goes to your valve cover. I connected all the wires based on the diagram that I had drawn. I know a lot of people label them and stuff like that, but this is the easiest way. See which one goes where in the orientation wise, so it's much easier for you guys to put it the way it was, you know, in case if you get confused with the numbers. So I also replaced my spark plugs, and here's what I did. I removed the bottom case, which makes the spark plug access much easier. I have another video on that. Feel free to check it out, how to replace the spark plugs. Another thing I noticed is it's much easier to get to these bracket bolts, you know, from underneath the car versus trying to do it from top there. It is possible from top there, so you don't really have to remove this panel, but feel free to do so. It makes the job much more easier. And I connected, these are my vacuum lines. I connected the vacuum lines back in. Everything is good, and I think I'm done with the job. So guys, this is how you replace your valve cover gasket for the driver and the passenger side on a V6 4.0 cylinder Ford Ranger, and it's probably similar on some of the other Ford vehicles. So guys, if you like the video, please subscribe to my channel and like the video.